Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast. And almost unbelievably, we are nearing the 2-year anniversary of this YouTube channel. So I wanted to provide an update that outlines my plans for next year, 2018. And I'm going to do that in conjunction with looking back on what I accomplished during 2017. I actually rewatched my first channel update video from last year, where I listed out a number of projects to do during 2017. And looking back, I actually made some progress on most of those goals, so that's good. So let's go through them individually and see which ones will survive into 2018. Now, number one, the Takashi Miike filmography review. So this project is essentially finished, and it's probably my biggest accomplishment for 2017 on this channel. It took me basically the whole year to complete. Covered 86 of Miike's films and rewatched probably at least 50 of them to kind of refresh my memory. The script for that playlist was about 70 pages long, so it took a while to write up. Actually, this project was an attempt at something kind of ridiculous, given the size of Miike's filmography, so the fact that I was able to actually finish it gives me a sense of satisfaction. And I did get a lot of positive feedback from my subscribers, so related to that project, which was nice. So hopefully it becomes useful to other people who visit this channel in the future. And, it probably has some rewatch value as well when you're trying to go through Miike's filmography and look for the better titles. Of course, I will add more reviews to that playlist as I get a chance to see Miike's more recent stuff, so look out for that. Now, in terms of filmography projects, Takashi Miike really was kind of the perfect opportunity to do a full filmography review for multiple reasons. Number one, his filmography has a huge diversity, so there isn't as much repetition as you'd see in some other directors. Number two, there are many misconceptions, I think, regarding Miike's work that I wanted to address, and covering every single film in his filmography, or at least almost every single one, gave me the opportunity to do that while providing reasons for my opinions. And number three, most of Miike's films are still available for viewing through legitimate means. So that situation was a perfect storm that justified covering every Miike film you could find. Now, most other directors really would not qualify when doing, if you want to do like a full filmography review of every single film that you can find for them. For example, take Yasujiro Ozu, who's in my top 10 favorite Japanese directors of all time. I love the guy. But going through every single one of his films in chronological order, I think there would be a certain repetition to my reviews, because Ozu operated in a wheelhouse, as I like to call it. You know what I mean? He did have some diversity in his filmography, but a lot of his films are similar. You know what I mean? They cover similar types of themes. They have similar types of camera work and that type of thing. So, I think going through every single one of those, like going through 10 Ozu films in a video chronologically, might get a little bit repetitious in terms of what I would have to say for them. In addition, the other big director that I was actually planning on doing a filmography review for is Johnny To. And I was like, okay, when I'm done with this Miike playlist, I'll start teeing up my Johnny To playlist, because he does have a nice variety, a big enough variety in his playlist, or his filmography, to do a playlist. The problem comes when I try to find the movies again, because nowadays, a lot of Johnny To's films are not easy to find. A lot of them used to be available on a subscription website I used to use called eHit back in the late 2000s, and they don't exist anymore. So I rented a bunch of his movies using that like Netflix-style Asian movie website. They don't exist. So I was looking to see the availability of Johnny To's films, and it's kind of dicey. So I'm like, crap, it wouldn't make sense to go through, all this guy's movies again, maybe using my notes and doing reviews of them, and just being like, oh, this movie you can't find, this movie you can't find, this movie you can't find. It's like, there's no point. You know what I mean? You got to at least have a decent availability of the films to make it worthwhile for people. So I don't think I can do that either. So, With that said, I do want to cover a bunch of directors, regardless of what the availability of their films are nowadays, you know what I mean? As well as actors. So I've decided to do this. I'm going to take a more efficient approach to this in the future. I'm going to select my favorite films from a variety of directors and actors and whoever else, and then cover those separately in a series of best of videos. So what I'll do is I'll be like the top 10 Yasujiro Ozu films, you know what I'm saying? Or the top 10, Kim Ki-duk films, or whatever. And I think that would work. Because then, regardless of the availability, these are the top 10 to seek out. Instead of covering, spending like 10 videos covering a bunch of movies that are obscure, or whatever. So I think that's the way to go. And I'm hoping to do a handful of those in 2018, so look out for that. Now, number 2. The Asian Horror Year in Review playlist. Now, I posted 15 or so additional videos to this playlist during the year. I'm still working on part 4 of the 2012 video, where it'll cover my favorites from that year, but that should come out fairly soon. And then I plan on continuing our exploration of Asian horror in the upcoming year. Now, I hope to cover the years of 2013 and 2014 in that industry, which I think are very interesting years for the industry, and so that'll be fun to cover those. I'm not exactly ready to cover 2015 yet. I want to watch a handful of more films from that year to do before doing an assessment. And obviously, I'm not even close to seeing enough Asian horror films from 2016 or 2017 to cover those years. So I'm working on it, trying to watch as many as I can, and I'll continue to compile the data until I have enough to do, one of those 3-part or 4-part videos. And with that said, what I've been trying to do is, if I see a solid Asian horror film, say from this year or a few years ago, that I have not yet covered in that playlist, I have been trying to cover those in separate review videos, just to keep you in the loop of stuff to look out for. So I will continue to do that. And finally, this past October, I had an idea, and I started posting some additional reviews of Asian horror films, either for particular franchises or, things like that. And I do plan to do that every October in the future to kind of beef up the Asian horror content on the channel. So I'm going to continue doing that stuff. 3, the DVD collection videos. So I successfully finished my Legacy collection, and I also posted a bunch of addendum videos this year covering my subsequent purchases. And I plan on continuing this playlist into the future as long as physical media exists. Never know how long that's going to last. But, there should be plenty of stuff to buy and cover for years to come. I've actually been ramping up my purchases during the past year, and will continue to do so because I want to gobble up a bunch of stuff before it goes out of print or gets really expensive. I also want to emphasize that this DVD collection video playlist could be the most useful playlist on my entire channel. Especially for people who want to just find recommendations on a wide variety of Asian films. A lot of my favorites are covered in that playlist. And remember, I do give a brief plot summary and my thoughts on each film that that are in my collection. So, I know it's a long playlist, and it'll take a while to get through on your part, but if you want recommendations, that's the place to go for sure. Definitely. And it's also ordered by language of origin, at least for my Legacy collection. Alright, number 4, top 10 lists. Now, I was originally going to do these myself on this channel, but as it turned out this year, I ended up collaborating with Corey from Pieces of Work on these lists, as well as the Asian Filmist guys. And it was actually more productive and interesting than what I would have come up with on my own. So we did 5 top lists during 2017. We did the top 20 Korean films from the 2010s so far, with 5 honorable mentions. We did the top 20 Japanese films from the 2010s so far, with 5 honorable mentions. We did the top 20 Korean films from 2000 to 2009, with some honorable mentions. And then the top 20 Japanese films from 2000 to 2009, with some honorable mentions. And then, finally, we just recently did our top 10 favorite Korean actresses. So, those are all really good videos. Make sure you check those out on the Pieces of Work YouTube channel. You could go right to his channel and search for them. I think they're in his podcast playlist. Or you could go to my collaborations playlist on this channel, and I have them listed out in that playlist, and the links are in the description boxes for you. Those are actually some of the most fun videos I did during the entire year this year. A lot of fun to make, and I actually rewatch some of them occasionally because the discussions are so interesting. And I do think our collaborations do contribute to the YouTube community, because you're not going to find that many people that really talk about these movies in any length or detail on this website. And some of those discussions go for like 2 or 3 hours, so it's good stuff. And make sure you subscribe to the Pieces of Work YouTube channel, as well as Asian Filmists. And there's a few other guys out there too, because we cover a wide variety of movies. You know, it's actually quite surprising just how little we overlap on our coverage of Asian films. So there's definitely an advantage to subscribing to all of the Asian movie reviewer channels out there. You know what I mean? And it'll keep your feed coming in as well, you know, new stuff in your feed. I think that's a little bit different from a lot of the more popular YouTubers who cover American films, because there are some people that cover indie films and classics, but if you look at the popular guys, they usually cover like the same movies. You know what I mean? The comic book movies, big budget blockbusters, and then when the Oscars come out, they all cover like the Oscar movies, you know, but those are the same. I don't know, there's a lot of sameness there. I think we cover a pretty huge variety of stuff, and I like that. I almost consider us to be like one big team, you know what I mean? So thankfully, we plan on doing more collaborations during 2018 on a variety of topics that have not been finalized yet. We've been tossing around a bunch of ideas. I think the next collab video is going to be the 2017 recap, where we discuss some of our most memorable films that we've seen during the year and what we watched and other related topics. So look out for that. I'm recording this video before we've actually scheduled that, so when this video posts on YouTube, it might be pretty close to coming out, so keep an eye out for it. Corey, I'm sure, will make an announcement. Alright, number 5, individual movie reviews. Going into 2017, I wanted to cover a greater variety of Asian movies that are not covered in the Asian horror playlist that I was doing. I made some good progress on this year. I currently have 43 South Korean reviews, 35 Japanese movie reviews, and 29 Chinese language movie reviews. So it's over 100 separate review videos, which is pretty solid when you consider like all the other movies I cover in my playlist. So I'm happy about that. I plan on posting a lot more of those in the next year. And what I do want to do is I want to review more Japanese classics in 2018 in those individual reviews, as well as my my top list for the directors and actors too. So, you know, look out for those. Number 6, Asian television series. Yes, it's about time I started ramping this up. So again, going into 2017, I wanted to review more Asian television series, mostly K-dramas and J-dramas. I got this project started, but have only made a little bit of progress. I think I have like 5 or 6 reviews up. Now, I definitely want to make an effort to review more Asian television series during 2018, with a focus on the K-dramas and J-dramas, which are, well, at least the K-dramas are definitely more available. You know what I mean? And there's some really good J-dramas that I know of already, which is why I want to cover those. But because of this, you know, there may be a few weeks here or there where I only post like 2 videos in a week. I've recently been trying to do 3 videos a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And occasionally I'll do 2 a week if I'm busy or there's stuff going on. And when that happens, it's Tuesday, Friday. So there might be a few weeks this year where I do Tuesday, Friday. And if that's the case, you know that I'm like hammering out a K-drama or something, or you know what I mean? Because it's going to take a lot longer to get through the K-dramas and J-dramas, where they're, you know, anywhere between 9 hours long and like 26 hours long or even more. So, you know, just a heads up for you on that. Number 7, spoiler interpretation videos. I've mentioned this idea a few times before, but I've not yet posted an actual spoiler interpretation video. The main reason, I think, is that I'm too preoccupied with these other projects, and I never really got started. This is not really a high priority project for me, but it is something that I'd like to do in the future. Obviously, this video, a video like that would take a lot of time, and I gotta pick the movies correctly. If I do something that's too obscure, no one's gonna care or watch it, you know what I mean? Because they haven't seen the movie, so why would you want to see a spoiler interpretation video about it? So I gotta pick the right movies, and I'll eventually get a few of those out, but it might not be until 2 or 3 years down the road. Number 8, the Japanese animated horror playlist. This is one I mentioned last year. Now, I definitely want to do like a comprehensive filmography review of every Japanese horror anime, movie, and television series that I've seen in chronological order, similar to the Asian horror playlist I do. But this project's still kind of in the preparation stage. I'm trying to watch more Asian horror titles, kind of beef up the number of titles I'm going to cover. And I also want to rewatch some stuff to do good write-ups on them. So it's going to be a while before this comes out. I'm guessing maybe like 2019 at the earliest. And finally, number 9, discussion videos. This is what I'm kind of excited about. These are basically videos where I talk about something that's related to Asian movies. It could be a particular topic or opinion on something. It could be a general misconception about the industry that I disagree with. Some of these discussion videos will be covered in conjunction with my collaborations with pieces of work. And we have discussed stuff during those collaborations previously. So, again, check those out. The Asian Filmist guys also contributed quite a bit to that. But there are a few that I'm going to do myself, just based on the format and how passionate I am about it. And I am in the process of writing up the first one that I want to do. So I'm pretty excited about it. It's going to be, I don't know how it's going to turn out, how long the video is going to be or whatnot, but I'm working on it. I wanted to do it, I've been wanting to do this video actually since I started my channel, but there wasn't enough done yet on the channel to actually do it. You'll understand when I get to it. So, yeah. That's basically my summary of plans for 2018. Probably a bit too much on my plate, to be honest, but I'm hoping to make some progress on the higher priority titles that I discussed. So, regardless, it should be another fun year for the Asian movie enthusiast. So, be sure to join me on this journey of Asian movie awesomeness and, in some cases, awfulness. So, as always, we will see you next time.